Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe down below, and don't forget to leave us a comment, and don't forget to hit that bell so that way you don't miss out on any of our new videos. Let's go ahead and get into the video. Welcome back, my Florida Garden Escape channel. Happy to have you guys here. So today, don't mind the pile of wood back there. But today we are going to be going through and transplanting. Now, normally we transplant in like a smaller pot. Well, not a smaller pot than what there are, but just a little bit bigger pot for them to get a little bit bigger before we put them in the ground. But today, we're not going to be doing that. It's going to be my first season of growing asparagus. So we started some asparagus seeds and they have germinated and they are ready to be transplanted. So we are going to be going through to put them in this. Now I've already got everything that I didn't want in the soil. I got any extra roots that was in the soil. We went ahead and repurposed the soil as well as adding some fertilizer to the ground. Now we're going to go through to put the seedlings in. We're going to let them get a little bigger, and then after a bit we will come back through and just add a small layer of a little bit of mulch. Not much, just a little bit, so that way it can help hold in the moisture, especially so that way they don't dry out or anything. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. I'm going to go ahead and show you. This is the asparagus. It's a little flimsy, but you can definitely see we got lots of it growing. Since this is going to be the first season I'm growing this, it's going to be very exciting to grow, and I definitely want to make sure it's growing the way it should. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and set this up here. As you guys can see, we have it growing in several different areas. We're just going to make 1, 2, 3, I got 4 that are ready to come out, so we're going to make 4 spaces here. And we're just going to space them out evenly. Good bit of space. Alright, now we're going to come through, and I'm just going to push these little pods out, just like this. Alright, there we go. I'm going to set this down. Alright, and now I'm going to go through and space these guys out. Just so that way they're not overlapping each other and they're not super crowded. And as you can see, I'm not pushing hard, I'm just gently pressing. There we go. Alright, next set. This one's only got 2 in it. I'm just gonna slightly just keep pinching. There it goes. Alright, there's that one. Now here's the 4th one. Very nice, very nice. As you guys can see, I'm not disturbing the plant too much. Oh. Alright, and now the last one. These other 2, they're not quite big enough. and they're not ready to be transplanted out yet, so we're not gonna mess with the other ones. Alright, there goes that one. Alright. And there we are. Now we have officially transplanted our asparagus. We're gonna put these back with the seedlings. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna go put these back and then we'll check in on these. Alright, so now we have the asparagus transplanted. We are now going to go ahead and move on to some herbs, and we're going to get those transplanted. Alright guys, so this is all the herbs that we need to transplant. As you guys can see, a lot of them are definitely ready to be transplanted. We even have some spinach here that is definitely ready to be transplanted. So we're going to go through and get all this transplanted. I'm hoping to get it all done today, but who knows? We'll see. Let's go ahead and get into it and get this all taken care of, so that way these guys have more room to grow. Get this pot all situated, we're going to go ahead and get the plants transplanted in here. Now, it's at a debate right now if I want to do the the oregano or the thyme. I think I may just go ahead and put the thyme in this pot. Since thyme did really well in this pot before, and since we re-added the fertilizer and that to it. So, and I've already made the holes for the thyme as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just put the thyme in here, and we're going to get these guys transplanted. I'm going to start with this one here. Now thankfully this one is a little different. I don't have to squeeze anything. I can just pop the thing right on out and place them in there, and they're going to do just fine. And I don't hurt any of the roots. I'm not stressing them any. You definitely want to be careful when it comes to your herbs. The roots are very sensitive. They're very shallow roots. That's why I always probably do my herbs in pots, just due to how shallow these roots can be. And they're very young too, so I definitely have to be double careful with getting these guys transplanted. Now, thyme doesn't grow up like a normal flower does. It kind of scours about, it moves like kind of like mint does. It's a great seasoning. It's a great herb to have in the garden. Herb smells actually very well too. It adds a good bit of flavor to your meals, especially when cooking with it. You can also use it as an essential oil and turn it into essential oil from the oils on the leaves. You could probably find 1,000 uses for your herbs. It's a lot of the daily items we use comes probably from our herbs, and that from cleanings to medicines and things like that. So we got 4 herbs, and as you guys can see, I definitely somewhat semi-evenly transplanted these guys in here. So they are all set. Now, one major thing we do want to make sure to do is just add a little bit of water into the soil, and these guys will be good to go. Let's go ahead and take a close. Alright, there we are. Thyme is successfully transplanted. Alright, now with this pot, you guys can see we have some mint growing in here already. That's what this is over here in this area. But I am just going to make a few little sections, as we are going to add some oregano in this pot to go with the mint that's already growing in here. We're just going to make 4 little crushes like this. Alright, there we go. go. There we are. There's that one. Alright, and there we go. There's that oregano. Alright, so now with this, what we're going to do here is we're going to make a little wedge here. And we are going to put it in the sage in this Alright, so that's all the sage transplanted. So I'll go ahead and just stick this here. Now, a little bit later, here in a few, once we finish transplanting, I'll go through and water everything, just so that way it adapts well to the new soil that it's in. You always, when you transplant, always want to water the first 5 days, so that way they get used to the soil that they're newly in. So we'll go through to do that once we finish transplanting everything. Next, we're going to go over to where our lettuce is. We have 2 things of spinach we need to transplant, so we're going to go ahead and do that now. Alright, so now this one is going to be pretty easy. I just make the gap like I normally do. Push this pot up and then move it over. Alright. Just get the soil all up and around it. There we go. We transplanted that spinach. Now we're going to go through. I'm just going to slightly mix this all up. Alright, there we go. Get this one out. Beautiful, beautiful. They were definitely ready to get out of those. Alright. Now this other one, we're going to move over to this other pot, and I'm going to put them in that. Alright, now as you guys can see, I already got the Grand Rapids there. So I'm just going to slightly make a hole here. And then we're gonna pop that guy in there. And this is gonna give him more room to spread those roots out. All right, there we go. All right, so we've got the herb seedlings transplanted. Now we really need to get the Brussels sprouts seedlings transplanted as well. So those are going to be a little bit more tricky. Those are a little bit bigger. A lot of these are going to be going to the big garden. So we're going to go ahead and get laid out, get everything situated, figure out exactly where we're going to put the Brussels sprouts, and then move from there. So let's go. Alright, so along this row is going to be our Brussels sprouts. We're going to fix the hose to make it straighter as we move along here. But I'm going to go ahead and get the first few transplanted here. We just got to move the mulch. Alright, there's that. There. Got 3 spots here. We're going to go ahead and dig this first hole. Second hole. Now as you guys can see, I'm not doing very big, I'm not doing very deep, just due to these are seedlings. They aren't very big, so they don't need a deep hole. A lot of the stem I am gonna cover up, so that way it can fertilize and build new roots there and be better acclimated into the ground there. Alright, so I'm only going to put some of the mulch back in the area. We're not going to cover the plants and smother them in the mulch just a little bit, just to give them that oomph to grow right there. And then I'm going to set that there. Alright. This one. Alright, just put a little bit of the mulch back just to help keep in the moisture. Now the soil's already moist, so I don't need to really worry about watering. I may just give a little bit of water just to be on the safe side, make sure they do get used to their new little home. Get out of there. Alright. This one is in, so we're just going to add a little bit of mulch, just like we did with the other ones. We don't want to barricade them. Alright. We're going to move on down the line and put some more in. Alright, we're all done. Now we just gotta set this in place. I always want to make sure that these guys get that drip system, so that way they get water when we hook it up, and the drip system can water these guys while I tend to the other plants. So now let's get a close-up. Alright guys, as you guys can see, they're transplanted. We're gonna turn the drip system on after a bit, so that way they get a good watering, get adjusted to their home, and then after a few days we come back and we'll be transplanting some Utah celery that needs to be transplanted. But at least we got the gist of everything that needed to be transplanted, pretty much transplanted today, guys. So that didn't take long, and I did it. Even though it's almost dinner time. No biggie. Alright. So that is all transplanted. Now I just got to go through and water everything, which will be like really freaking easy, to be honest, because it won't take long. It'll only just take a couple of minutes. Pretty much everything else is watered, so don't have to go back through to water anything else additionally. That's the plus side. I need something to drink too. And I think that's about it, guys. Next transplanting, we'll be finishing out these herbs and then also getting the additional seedlings that we need to transplanted as well. And then we'll be starting our second batch of seedlings for the rest of the season, because we're not even close to all this plants we're going to be growing this season. So stick around, as we will go through to transplant those. I mean, not transplant, but to start those as well. But guys, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. I'm going to get these seedlings transplanted, and catch you later. Deuces.